Robert Hutchins, a very remarkable man, whose life was probably as legendary, if not more so, than some of his educational reforms that he championed. He was born in Brooklyn, New York, in 1899 to a Protestant minister. Later in his life, his family would move to Ohio, where his father had gotten a job at Oberlin College, a school that was actually also started by another Protestant minister. The school was very well known for the fact that it was coeducational, or co-ed, and that it was equal to both white and black students. After attending 2 years of college there himself, Hutchins would go on to Europe and serve in the American Ambulance Corps in World War I. After returning home, he would go to Yale, and after receiving a degree, he would then go on to Yale Law School and graduate with very high honors. Within 2 years of graduating, he would become the dean of the Yale Law School. And only about 2 years after that, at the age of 30, he became the president of the University of Chicago, a very well-known and respected university. His educational reforms were, to some, quite surprising. One of the first things he said after becoming president was that even some of America's greatest schools had inadequate educations and were not teaching the students as much and doing as well at teaching students as they could have been. He believed that reform needed to be done and needed to be done now. And so very quickly he changed very, very radically the way that the University of Chicago ran. He believed strongly in the need for all students in undergraduate level to study the same kind of curriculum, a general studies you could say. And he believed that this general education would help quote, cultivate and the intellectual values, end quote, of the students. This was something he believed strongly in. That was quite different than the free elective system that other people were trying to push in other schools and universities across the United States, which was quite popular at the time. He believed in the need for students in undergraduate level to study the same group of things. He believed I think you could say that undergraduate study was a time to cultivate the mind and the intellect, and not so much to prepare for vocations. He actually was quite opposed to having vocational studies or studies preparing for very specific jobs in the undergraduate schools. He believed that students should begin their undergraduate study at the age of 16, 2 years earlier, and finish at 20, 2 years as well 2 years earlier, and then go on to their graduate studies, in which they would have a little bit more variation in the courses they took based on what they wanted to do. Some other things that he believed in strongly was that students should be able to choose the time when they take their exams, that they should be able to choose when they feel they've prepared and that they are ready to take them. Part of the thing that is so special about the exams, he believed they should be comprehensive, which at the time, from what I've read, was not very popular. He believed very strongly in that, and that's how they ran it. It was a comprehensive exam, and you were judged on how well you did on this exam and not on how long you were in the classroom. It was how well you did that decided whether or not you graduated, not how long you were with a teacher, per se. He also believed that in a system known as curriculum system known as the liberal arts. The liberal arts was more of a traditional approach to school, but it was believed in teaching more intellectual things, kind of like I was saying before, as opposed to vocational. It was to prepare the mind to enlarge our abilities to think and reason, and involved a lot of study and reading of cultural and historical things, especially great authors. And with that, he began a program with the help of another gentleman called the Study of the Great Books at University of Chicago, a program that had begun in a couple of different universities. He was one of the he brought it in, and it not only catched in the school, it also became quite popular in Chicago itself, and in a lot of ways is still popular now. The Great Books is a collection of authors from the West who are very well known, and other authors who have just had a great impact on Western culture. People like Homer, Shakespeare, Chaucer, Jane Austen, as well as scientists like Charles Darwin, Isaac Newton, and of course Albert Einstein. This collection of about the works of 74 authors were meant to help the student as he or she came to understand the past, understand our culture, and understand what makes us who we are. It was very important to Hutchins that students learn about the past. And to be honest, it is still today. It is seen in a lot of schools, and it's quite interesting to me, a student from Canada, that many of the authors that were included in that group, in the Great Books, were included in my education, my classes, and a lot of them are included here in this university. His impact while at the University of Chicago didn't last long. As soon as he left the school, they went back to more common ways of teaching. It's felt in other ways, such as the Great Books and the legacy and the importance that those books have become in education across the US and Canada, but also his beliefs in allowing students to start learning earlier, or start studying for undergraduate studies earlier. AP classes have become so popular, and you can find them in so many places. Improvements in education, like AP courses, are thanks to him, Robert Hutchins, and his dedication to educational reform.